Hi guys, how are you today? Welcome to my Wimbledon preview, guys. I hope you guys are going to enjoy it. So let's get into the video, shall we? So I'm going to now preview Wimbledon for you. So yeah, I'm just opening up the draw right now. So yeah, got the draw in front of me. So first I want to focus on Djokovic part of the draw, right? Let's go there. He's got a guy named Draper who's a wild card from the UK first round. That should be easy, followed by Kevin Anderson. Could be a rematch of the final in 2018. And but I mean Anderson hasn't done anything for a long time. Then if he makes the third round, it'll be like probably Seppi, who's a Spanish player, likes to play on clay, or Fakina. Both of them, they like to play on clay. They may not make it. Wouldn't really threaten Djokovic. So it's a really easy draw here. And then if you look through to the fourth round, Monfils has got depression or something, not really playing well, not really doing anything. So don't expect anything from Monfils. So then he's just got a path like, the biggest thing you don't want on grass is a big server, big hitter on grass to challenge you. But Djokovic has got clay courts and Monfils. So it's going to be either Schwartzman or Sinner or I don't think it'll probably won't be Sinner. Yeah, it'll be after he gets past Monfils section of the draw or Christian Garin, but then Garin's also a clay quarter and doesn't do anything on grass. But anyway, that's his fourth round. It's almost like he made the draw. So then Sinner's in the next part of the draw, Fanini, Rublev, but yeah, Rublev and Schwartzman. It'll probably be either Rublev or Schwartzman. I mean, Rublev's a decent player, but Rublev's the kind of guy who, on a slower court, could cause Djokovic problems because he has time to set up for the big, powerful strokes and is willing to hit 4, 5, 6, 7 shots till you can eventually get past a great defender and be patient. But he needs to get in a rally and needs time to set up, and grass doesn't suit that. Then it could be Schwartzman, but again, Schwartzman, I mean, he doesn't have a big serve, doesn't have a power game. I mean, without a serve of any kind, and just by being short and just running and not real power on grass, I don't see him threatening Djokovic. And then maybe Rublev if he got hot with the power. But again, he likes more of a slower, where he can get into a longer rally, have time to set up with those bigger strokes and hit power and get it through the court. So again, even there, the only thing it might be a bit more difficult having Tsitsipas in his semi-final, but even Tsitsipas with the big stroke, the big forehand. I mean, he's played well indoors in won the World Tour finals, so similar sort of court speed there. But yeah, he hasn't done well on grass. Tsitsipas hasn't played a warm-up tournament. I mean, it's probably like the third seed, so I'm not sure who's. I think probably Zarev's fourth seed, if I had to guess. I got to look through it, but probably I think the choice would be Tsitsipas or Zverev in the semi-finals. But Zverev may be better on grass because again, Tsitsipas has got the big strokes, big forehand, and taking time to set up, and Zverev's got a better serve. So Tsitsipas is playing better now, but on grass, I don't know. Like with him needing time to set up for the big forehand, I don't know if that's good for grass. And then Tsitsipas not playing a warm-up tournament. But based on the last 2 months on clay, which is totally different, Tsitsipas has been better than Zverev and would be the guy you don't want to meet. So without any warm-ups, can he do it on grass? I don't know. He took Djokovic to a fifth set at the French Open. So probably he's feeling good about his chances. But again, Djokovic would rather grass than clay, and Tsitsipas would rather clay. And Tsitsipas still didn't win at the French Open when it was his best surface. Sorry. So I would say a dream draw for Djokovic. Um, if we look at some of the other players on that side of the draw, like oh yeah, we've got so let's look at Tsitsipas's draw now. So Tsitsipas is going to have TFO, then probably Popissil from Canada, then Hachinov. So Hachinov, someone, for example, if Djokovic could cause trouble on grass earlier, but he doesn't. Um, Djokovic doesn't have such a player. Djokovic instead in the third round has Fokina, a clay quarter, who won't threaten him, right? Yeah, so anyway, getting back to Tsitsipas's TFO, probably Popissil, then Hachinov. Again, that's a tough one, like I said, on grass for the third round. But then if he's going to move to the fourth round, Demonor, who just likes to be in rallies, Tsitsipas would overpower him on a fast grass court. That's the fourth round. Then he'd be in the quarterfinals, so one win away from the Djokovic match. I mean, Andy Murray's in that side of the draw. I don't know how he would go. But he would have a Goot, and then I think he would overpower a Goot too. Not a bad draw. Probably most likely the Tsitsipas Djokovic match will happen. I'll predict that from that side of the draw. Now let's head over to the other side of the draw. So let's go to Medvedev. Medvedev's got a nightmare draw the way I see it. Firstly, Struff, like the big serve power guy. This could have happened to anyone, to Djokovic or anyone like that. But this is the guy with a huge serve and a power game, sort of not very low rank, but sort of close to getting a seed here, right? And to get him in the first round, he's already won on grass in Halle against Medvedev. So to have this, really, it's a nightmare situation. The worst case first round, and then someone who can have a big serve attack, shorten the point, stop Medvedev getting to rallies, take away Medvedev's defense, and all these type of things. So anyway, that's his first round. Second round, it'll be Alcaraz who likes clay or Paul. I think Paul from the US is a big server, but it could be a tough one with Paul. But I don't think that's that much of a threat. But then when you get to the third round, again, this is something Djokovic wouldn't want, but he's not getting. But Medvedev is Cilic in the third round. I mean, what could be harder than that? Cilic won a Stuttgart 250 on grass already. He's had more time on grass, so that's a huge threat to his game. But I think like the first match on grass coming for Clay, Struff, he lost, but I think he's going to get just enough of all these matches in Mallorca plus the match in they met in Halle. So with the loss in Halle plus all these in Mallorca and playing the week before, bad for the end of the tournament, but it's going to get you in good shape, like coming off all these matches right before. So it's not like you're building and starting a new tournament. It's like you found form right away. If you play and win the week before, which Medvedev's doing. So I think you'll get enough matches, get past Struff, get past Paul and Alcaraz. And even though it's possible if he gets hot, over 5 sets, Cilic just hasn't proven to be able to do it. But the fact that he took Federer, I think, was to a long 4-set match at the French Open, and on grass, bigger serve, he'll get more free points from the winners and shortening the point. It'll be tough, but I think by the third round, plus all these matches in Mallorca, plus the one in Halle, he'll win that, get through. So then in the fourth round, Hurkacz, I mean, he hasn't done anything lately, but he won Miami. He's got a huge serve power game. That's another big test. But I think Medvedev, just the fact that he doesn't have match fitness, consistency, confidence, Medvedev will probably get by him. So then if we move through that's Hurkacz. Then if we move through to the quarterfinals, I think he's going to play Federer, right? And I think he would also beat Federer. Um, because like I said, Federer's coming back off. He's 40 years old. He's coming back. When you're that age, it takes a long time to build your match fitness, right? And then Medvedev playing all these like quarterfinals of the French, then all these matches in Mallorca the week before. I mean, like more matches on grass in the build up, but then being on tour all this time, Federer was off. Then the more at the French Open, then more the week before. He can handle it because he's younger. And then Federer just losing his second round at Halle. I think they didn't call it the second round because you get a round off. Not looking that great at the French Open, going out in Geneva. I would have to give that quarterfinal to Medvedev. Then he would end up with Zverev, right? This could be an interesting one because, Zverev is going to be, we'll go over that when I talk about the semifinals anyway. Um, Federer's draw would be Manarino. He's really at risk of going out because Manarino, big serve, power game, attacking, shortening the points. If Federer's a bit off, which he has been, finding his game again, right? If Roger Federer's a bit off, he could go out in the first round. If not, Gasquet, the second round. Now, Gasquet doesn't have a great grass game, but just the rallies, the consistency, the defense. With Federer being 40 years old and taken and being out for so long and needing a lot of time to find his game again, right? Gasquet may just ask him into too many long rallies, have too much defense. And Federer may not be quite there with the game and the consistency and the ability to hit 2, 3, 4 shots to end every point and do it for 5 sets and the physicality of that. Then if he gets past that, which I'm going to bank that he will, just based on his history, now he's got Norrie, and then now Norrie is made the final in Queen's Club. So he's playing better than Federer right now, who, like I said, Geneva first round, won a few matches at the French Open, but then lost his second match in Halle. If he's at that level, Norrie will beat him 50-50, I think. But let's just give it to Federer based on his experience. Then he's got Pablo Carreño Busta. Well, he was a clay quarter. He wants to battle. Federer would, yeah, Federer would beat him. Um, just a second. Yeah. Federer would beat him, and then he ends up in the Medvedev match. So there's a great possibility he could lose by Norrie, but I'm just going to give Federer a quarterfinal. Say he'll get a set against Medvedev and give it to Medvedev. Um, let's go to Zverev's part of the draw now. So Zverev's got this Greek Spore in the first round, Sandrin in the second round, should get through those. Fritz in the third, yeah, I mean, his game's good for grass. Fritz, but so is Zverev. Zverev's better at it. Then the fourth round, he should get Aliassime. That'll be a bit of a test, but again, they're both tacking, shortening the points. Zverev's better at it. Then you could meet Karatsev. So yeah, Berrettini. Aliassime. Yeah, like I said, both attacking serve, shorten the point. Zverev being better at it, and then Berrettini. Now this Berrettini Zverev match could go either way. They're both really good on grass to like attack, serve, shortening the point. Berrettini could overpower him and blow him off the point, off the court, but I'm going to give it to Zverev, right? Because I just find like Zverev, their serve matches up pretty even. Yeah, their serve matches up even and equally. Zverev and Berrettini, right? Um, but then when I look at it more in detail, their power game, attacking, shortening the point, pretty equal. But then when it comes to consistency and ability to attack without errors, Zverev's got Berrettini then. And then when it comes to defense, because the grass courts are slowed down, so you need it sometimes. So when you're forced to move, Berrettini will be won't be able to do it. Zverev will. So then consistency and shot tolerance and defense, I'll give it to Zverev on that basis, and then you can match him with the power game and the serve too. They met in Madrid, a fast clay court, and then you saw the more consistency and defense from Zverev. And even though Berrettini can attack, if you can force him to move, then it's a problem, right? And you're exposing a weakness. And if you can make the rally a bit longer, then he's going to be frustrated and go for too much. Whereas the Rev, he's got the attacking game and shorting the point like Berrettini, but if you try to make him move, he can do it also. So he can do it on defense and offense. But whereas if the Rev can put Berrettini on defense, it's a problem. Or make the rallies a bit longer, Berrettini will go for too much. So too much consistency and defense. Serve and attack, they're equal. So I'm going to give it to Zverev. So now we'll be left with a Zverev Medvedev semi-final and a Tsitsipas Djokovic semi-final. That's what I've got. So I'm going to go for Zverev and Medvedev, right? I'm going to go with I'll go with Medvedev for that one because I just think like Medvedev can match Zverev on the serve, right? Um, so they both then now with it being grass, Medvedev's shots in the rally shoot through the court, so he has power to end the point anytime in the rally because the court is fast. So sometimes he struggles to get through a slow court, but he's got consistency. But when you speed the court up, suddenly Medvedev's shots go through the court, can get through any defender, and then they're low and flat, and on grass they're going to just slide through the court like that. So he can play his consistent game, but suddenly his consistent game, without risking or going for too much, and going through the court faster and getting through the defense of almost anyone, and he doesn't need to go for more because the surface is faster. Kind of like with Djokovic. So they'll match each other with the serve, but then again, they'll both have the power to end the point because Zverev won't have an advantage there because Medvedev now has the power to end the point. So it just comes down to the long rallies, the battle, the consistency, the defense. I think Medvedev's got better defense than Zverev, um, and Medvedev has more consistency in the long rallies. When it comes to ending the rallies with power, because the court's faster, both of them can equally end it and get it through the court. So their offense is matched as far as ending the point. Their serve, as far as grass, and your serve being important to get 3 points and hold easily, their serve is matched. So Zverev with a big serve power game, attacking short on the point. Now suddenly Medvedev's matching with the serve, right? And matching with the power game in the rally because even though Medvedev has less power, the power that he has is able to end the point anytime he wants on grass. So if it's a bit slower, he may not have the power to get through the court. But on grass, all his shots are getting through the court. He has the power to end the point easily without taking risks. So he's matching him on the power in the rally, matching on the serve, the fast grass courts. But then he's better than him with defense and better than him with consistency in the rally and not making errors. So that's what I think. Their serve will match, and then their power in the rallies to hit winners will match. But then the defense of Medvedev and the consistency in the rallies and the ability to end the point. And sometimes his net game, you can throw that in too and drop shots. But I just think like when Zarev's now saying my strength for my serve, he's doing it as well as I am. My power to end the point, he's doing that too. And sometimes Zarev doesn't attack like he should. He's happy to just sit back, play defense, get in rallies. But the thing is, there are a lot of guys that he can out rally. But when he's asked to do it with a guy like Nadal, a Djokovic, even a Medvedev, they're going to outbeat him with the consistency of shot. They're just going to out rally him. They're just better at rally, and they're going to play better defense than him and better ability to get balls back and force the rev to hit more and more shots. Better ability to turn defense into offense. So I just think that like That'll decide it. Zarev's strengths of serve and power to shorten the points are matched by Medvedev, but Medvedev's better in rallying, better consistency at the shot. Zarev will probably sit back too, and then now Medvedev's shots can get through the court. He can end the point wherever he wants, and just better consistency in defense and rallying, but equal on the power in the rallies and the serve. So I'll give it to Medvedev in 4 sets and put him through to the final. And then Djokovic sits a pass. Djokovic may not make the final because the whole issue is this, right? When you're trying to win the French Open and Wimbledon back to back, what you face is um what you face with all of that is like physically you got to be playing Grand Slam tennis 4 of 6 weeks, right? And it's 5 of 7 because he played in Belgrade the week before the French Open. So physically, I don't know in your mid-30s, can Djokovic do it? Very difficult, right? Secondly, if it was all on the same surface, you could just take the 2 weeks off because you've been playing on clay. If there was another one, but it's not. So he would like to just rest his body for 2 weeks so he could do all of that. But because it's grass, he now needs time on a completely different surface if he wants to have a chance to win a Grand Slam on that surface, right? Djokovic. So now he can't even rest during those 2 weeks. He's got to push himself harder. And if he goes the route of resting and not doing much on the grass for 2 weeks, you're coming in to try to win a Grand Slam on a surface you've not been on. And clay's the complete opposite. So you can't win then. If you say, well, I need the 2 weeks break, but I'm going to push myself, have time on grass, then you're looking at 3 weeks in a row, Belgrade, French Open. Then the 2 weeks in the middle, you can't even rest because you've got to get used to grass. And then you've got to go for another 2 weeks of winning 7 best-of-5 set matches. So physically, all of that, 3 weeks, then 2 weeks practicing on grass or some doubles that he's done, then 7 best-of-5 set matches physically. So either you're going in without the preparation on grass or you're physically pushing yourself too much. Tsitsipas is in the same. He was in the French Open final. He's not naturally as good as grass. Doesn't have time to play a preparation tournament. So they're both in the same boat with that. And because Djokovic is better under pressure and beat him at the French Open, clay is Tsitsipas's best surface. Grass is his worst, I'd say. Whereas grass, other than the Australian Open, it's one of Djokovic's best surfaces. And if they're both in the same situation about physically exhausted, not enough preparation on grass, but then when we've seen them play on Djokovic's worst surface, Tsitsipas's best, Djokovic's won. Now it's one of Djokovic's best surfaces and Tsitsipas's worst. I've got to give it to Djokovic. And it'll be easier than on the clay for him to just end the point and get through the court. Same with Medvedev. His serve will be more impactful when he attacks the second serve. That'll be more impactful. And then the whole thing about Tsitsipas's big forehand is a big stroke. He needs time to set up, and then he can generate all that power. On clay, he has the time. Grass here at Wimbledon, he doesn't. So no, I'm going for Djokovic in 4 sets. Just because he won 2 sets at Wimbledon, got him down 2 sets to love. Even on grass, I've got to give Tsitsipas a set. But I'm going to have Medvedev and Djokovic, the top 2 seeds, are going to battle it out at the Wimbledon final. And I just think, like I've said, physically 3 weeks of clay, Belgrade, the French Open, right? 2 weeks where you can't really rest. You're going to have to spend time on the grass. But still, even spending that time, you don't even get the proper rest of 2 weeks. So you can physically go another 2 weeks. So physically, by the Wimbledon final, you're exhausted and you're run down if you're Djokovic. Because 3 weeks, 2 weeks practicing on grass, another 2 weeks at a slam, you'll run down, right? Secondly, you didn't spend enough time on the grass for preparation. When Medvedev went to Halle, he's now on Mallorca, so he's got better preparation than Djokovic. And physically, like he missed Monte Carlo, played like 2 matches in Madrid, 1 in Rome, then had 2 weeks off, and then finally got 5 matches of the French Open. Has a week off, plays 1 match in Halle, and then finally the week before gets a few matches. So Physically, he's in better shape, more fresh to get through the 2 weeks. He's got more preparation, playing more matches on grass. They've got a similar style of game. I think Medvedev serves a bit better. And at their Australian Open final, Djokovic was able to get back to serve more, right? But it'll be harder on grass. And Djokovic could get through the court more than Medvedev at the Australian Open, but they'll both get through the court more. So now Medvedev's matching him on that. Medvedev's better serves got more impactful. Other than that, they've got a similar style of game. They both like to hit it flat, gets through the grass court, and that all suits their game together. But then with the more preparation, being younger with the Grand Slams back to back, and being more fresh. So when you add you're younger, that'll make you physically stronger. You're fresh, you've been playing a lot less, and you've had more preparation on the grass. If Medvedev doesn't get nervous or mental in this final, he should win it and beat Djokovic. So I'm saying Medvedev will win it. I'm going to say 4 sets. It could be either 4 or 5, but like their games are similar. They mirror each other's game. I mean, Medvedev's game for me suits this type of a court because indoors plays very similar to grass, right? So he won the Paris Masters 1000, the London World Tour finals on a court of this low bounce and speed. It suits his game. So does he like this kind of speed of court and bounce? Yes. How about that's a long time ago or last year? How's he playing now? Well, the French Open is worst tournament maybe. He's lost the first round every year, but now his form is so great that even on his worst surface, he's still in the quarterfinals. So to me, that says Medvedev's at his absolute best form because on his normal form, he'd be out in the first round. But now his form's so good that even the French Open is in the quarterfinals. He's now got matches on grass to get used to the footing and all of those things. So, so I just think for all those reasons, they played on the World Tour finals on a court this type of speed, and then you could see the serve was better for Medvedev than the Australian Open. His ability to end the rallies with the attacking game was easier than the Australian Open. Being faster indoors, he'll get that on grass. So he'll get a lot of the same things, advantages that he got in that match. But defense, they match each other. Shot tolerance and rallying, they match each other. To getting through the court with it being faster, Medvedev can match him there. Medvedev has a better serve, so he'll get more advantage out of the grass there. And then, like I'm saying, Djokovic is going to be physically exhausted and run down and probably far from his best, right? Doesn't have the preparation that he would have wanted to be at his best. He's going to be exhausted after all this tennis. Medvedev younger, so he could survive that amount of tennis better, but then physically, um, physically playing much less tennis and physically having more tennis on the grass right before. But like I said, Djokovic won't meet his best game. But if all it's about Djokovic versus the young guys, if the young guys are all nervous and can't handle the pressure, then Djokovic could be far from his best and still win. I think Djokovic will be quite far from his best, but I feel like one of these guys is still going to produce a decent level, and one of these guys are going to have to take it from him. It used to be the big three, Federer and big four, Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, and Murray, with Del Potro and Wawrinka pushing them. So it was almost a big six, right? So that's where we used to be. Wawrinka and Del Potro aren't there really doing anything or even playing in this tournament. Federer at his age, all this time off, I think it takes him he's not a contender. Murray's been out too long, all these hip problems. He's not a contender. So it's really the big two, Nadal, Djokovic now. But Nadal's not playing, so it's a big one. So this is about Djokovic versus the next generation. Instead of having both Nadal and Djokovic, they've only got to knock one of them out for one of them to get their first Grand Slam, right? And then Djokovic, after playing 3 weeks in a row with Belgrade, the French Open, and then getting only 2 weeks off and have to go another 2 weeks and being in his mid-30s to do that, and also having to make the transition from clay to grass and not even being able to rest in the 2 weeks, He won't be prepared enough. He won't be physically his best, but he'll produce a decent level. So he'll be there for the taking. One of these next gens should win this, but Djokovic being far from his best, he could still play an average level and be enough to get by because mentally they can't handle the pressure. And I think the whole thing comes down to that, and particularly this Medvedev Djokovic final. Can Medvedev handle the pressure? Because Djokovic will be far from his best. Djokovic will give him opportunities to win, but Djokovic will be consistent and play a decent level and better in the big moments. So if Medvedev can produce close to his best, he can take advantage that Djokovic is quite far from his best for reasons that I've mentioned. But if mentally can't handle the pressure, Djokovic's average level will still get it. And it's a shame if Djokovic is far from his best, but wins because there's no one else or no one can handle the pressure, which could very well happen. But physically, what Djokovic has to do at 34, there's no way he can be close to his best. But like I said, he'll find a way to get to his sort of average, decent level. The door will be left open if the next gen can play well to win a slam. But if they can't handle the pressure, then they'll just give it away. And Djokovic's average level, Djokovic far from his best because of the 3 weeks of Belgrade French Open. 2 weeks you can't take off. Try to practice on grass. Still don't get the preparation anyway. You're exhausted at Wimbledon without preparation. These guys should win it. But like I said, Djokovic will still, and at 34 to do that is asking too much for Djokovic, right? But still, this average level of Djokovic, he'll try what he can do. And if someone's at a really good level, I'll take him out. But if mentally they can't handle the pressure and it's all too much, then Djokovic will just say, I'm far from my best. I'm doing the best that I can for the situation, and it's still a decent level and it's better under pressure. And if you can't handle the pressure, even me far from my best, I'm going to take it from you. So that's what it's all about. As far as the Grand Slam race, he was predicted to win the probably the Australian Open Wimbledon. He was favourites, less favourites at the French Wimbledon. He's won a slam that he wasn't expected to win at the French Open. But then if he loses one that he was expected to win Wimbledon due to being physically exhausted and run down and no preparation, then instead of him winning the Australian Open, not the French, and then winning Wimbledon, he's won the Australian French and then lost. So he's traded. He's won a slam. He didn't expect to win the French, but he's lost a slam he did expect to win Wimbledon due to the French taking so much out of him. So in the end, winning the French doesn't give him any more slams unless he wins Wimbledon because he's traded the two. Instead of winning the one that he's favourite at Wimbledon and not the one that he wasn't favourite at the French Open, he's just said, I'm swapping them. I'm getting the French, which I wasn't expected to, but Wimbledon that I was, I'm losing now. So, but I've gained no more. But I've taken a Grand Slam from Nadal, though. So if he loses, that's where he is. If he wins, he's tied with them and he's got the US Open and everything's wonderful. But like I said, winning the French, one that he wasn't expected to win, has now compromised his chances at Wimbledon where he was expected to win. I'm saying he'll make the final and Medvedev's going to get him, right? 4 or 5 sets, and I just think, like I said, Medvedev matches his game on defense, consistency, rallying. They've both got a flat shot to get through a grass court, but Medvedev's shots can get through the grass court as well as Djokovic could. At night at the Australian Open, that's not the case. Indoors it was when Medvedev beat him, and here it will be the case, right? But I just think Medvedev with the better preparation, more rest, not playing all this tennis for months and running your body down. So that'll make him fresher. He's younger, better preparation on grass, and just physically at 34 at the end of all this being run down, Medvedev should take it. And if he's anywhere near his best, he will. And I'm saying he will. I think the surface suits his game, similar to indoors. And he did great at Paris and London, even at this time right now, quarterfinals of the French Open. So yes, I'm saying Djokovic is going to be really physically run down to be in his mid-30s doing all this. Medvedev's gonna hit a peak, and Djokovic just doing his best in this physical state and the average level. Medvedev at his best, he won't be able to handle that. And I'm saying Medvedev will. But if mentally he can't handle the pressure, then Djokovic is taking it. And it just comes down to that. Djokovic won't beat his best. He's giving the next gen a chance. But if they can't handle the pressure, he'll win it even not at his best. But I'm saying he won't beat his best. And Medvedev is going to find close to his best. And that'll be enough. And the surface suits Medvedev. The fact that he's younger, he's fresher, he's got more preparation on grass. His serve will be more impactful. And on this surface, both of them can get through the court equally well. But Medvedev has a better serve, so he's basically like a Djokovic with a better serve, a bit faster, a bit younger, and a bit fresher. And then just the fact that Medvedev will be able to reach his best, but Djokovic is going to be too run down. So 4 or 5 sets for Medvedev, I'd say. I'll say 4 for now, but I'm going to say Medvedev's going to be your 2021 Wimbledon champion. That's my prediction, and that's my Wimbledon preview for now. Subscribe, guys, bell notification, thumbs up. Have a great day, night, wherever you are. And I'm really trying to get Federer, Nadal, or Djokovic for an interview. I want to get Nadal and find out why he's not playing Wimbledon, how he feels about the future physically. I want to speak to Roger and how he feels about this Wimbledon he spoke so much about. Djokovic about winning the French Open, how his body's feeling going to Wimbledon. I'm sure I'll get all 3 at one point, but as far as soon, I'm sure I'm going to get one of the 3. So be back for that. I'll preview the Wimbledon semi-finals when we get there. The Wimbledon quarterfinals, I'll do a preview. Then the Wimbledon semi-finals and the Wimbledon final. So much to look forward to, guys. So please subscribe for that and hit the bell notification. Give me the thumbs up. Bye for now, guys. Have a great day, night, wherever you are, and be back here for my next video. So, bye, guys. Thanks for being with me, guys. Thanks for watching.